So we have a big one. This is a big question, and it hits a lot of sensitive areas in many ways, but I think it's really important to cover. So today we want to ask you, how are you in regards to body shame?
Okay, this is interesting because I grew up thinking consciously that I don't have body shame, that I'm totally confident with my body and everything's totally good here. But I remember in junior high school, I wouldn't even like to change in the gym and in the dressing room. I would pull my t-shirt down as far as I could. Like if it didn't go to my knees, I'd be so embarrassed. And then I'd change my shorts underneath my shirt, and I'd put on my next shirt and then wiggle out of my shirt underneath it to make sure that nobody saw anything, all in the name of modesty, right? And it's just been an interesting journey for me as people have shared about their body shame, and I disassociated. I'm like, oh, I don't think I've ever felt that way. But then I started thinking about stuff. So when I was younger, I walked in on my older sister. We shared a room, and I saw her. She wasn't dressed, and I was so embarrassed, and I thought for sure I was going to hell, and I hid in a closet for 2 hours and sobbed and sobbed and sobbed because I did not mean to see my sister, and I was such a bad girl for having that happen. And when I think back about these pieces of the puzzle, I'm like, what? Is that body shame? Like maybe I had a heck of a lot more body shame than I ever thought I did. And I remember getting kicked out of a church activity, actually, where my leader was an artist, and she was passing around different drawings that she'd created. And one of them was of a naked man, and I'd never seen anything like this, right? And I'm like, oh, this is porn, like I can't be here, oh my gosh. And the leader was like, this is art, get out of my house, get out of this meeting. I'm like, I'm seriously getting kicked out of a church meeting? Like, what's going on here? So when
You're thinking you were being good,
oh yeah,
example, and
I thought
choosing something that, yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I'm like, this is how I'm raised, and this is what's right, and this is what's supposed to be, and not, we aren't supposed to see the naked body and be okay with it. And like, I misunderstood so much about that whole piece. And so a year ago, Shelby and I were at this retreat. We're in California. We're headed down to the beach. And the challenge was for everybody to get in their bikinis and come down the stairs one at a time, with everybody celebrating, all the other girls and women celebrating you and your body as you came down the stairs in your bikini. And I was upstairs. I had never, ever put a bikini on. I had all sorts of responses coming in. And I was upstairs sobbing, and I told Shelby, like, I'm not doing this. I took the bikini off, and I'm like, I'd rather walk down there naked.
She did.
Than have
No
a
joke.
bikini, because I had so much shame wrapped around wearing an immodest swimming suit that showed my tummy, or that showed, right? I had so much judgment in myself to put on a bikini and walk down the stairs. I'm like, Shelby, I'm walking down naked. Like, I don't even care. And she's like, well, that'll be a little ironic. and later,
it's not the exercise,
right?
It's not what we're doing.
And you're ashamed of this, but you seem like, right, it doesn't make any
confusing.
sense.
It was.
And shame doesn't make any sense. What we have shame around is just a story of why we're worthless in this setting. It has no bearing on what's real. It's just stories that we've been taught and that we've adapted and adopted as we've grown up, right? So I remember finally like taking the deep breaths and getting into a better place with myself, raising my energy level, putting the bikini on, facing myself in the mirror, and that was the big deal. I didn't mind looking at myself naked in the mirror. But having a bikini on, all of a sudden, like, I'm facing deep, deep seated shame. And so I got clear that I was okay, me and the mirror image. And then as I walked down the stairs and those ladies just cheered for me and gathered me up as soon as I made it down the stairs, they all just wrapped me up because they'd been waiting downstairs for however long for Shelby to see if she could, help me lean into this shame piece for me. And I actually let Shelby take a picture of me in the bikini.
We can find that.
And yeah, we can share that in the feed below. But that was a huge piece. And then going down to the beach like that was nothing. It was like nothing in comparison to coming down the stairs with my girlfriends there to greet me. Yes. So body shame, if you haven't seen the show called Embrace, I invite you to rent it, watch it, buy it. It's a huge piece of what Shelbs and I like to help people move through, because we've experienced that side of things and come a long ways. Are we like there and arrived? No. But we have come a heck of a lot farther than we were even a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. So all of you who are coming to our live events, that is something that oftentimes we tackle. And men, we're talking to you too. I know a lot of men, a lot of fathers, a lot of daddies that have so much shame wrapped up in how they look in comparison to someone else, or how they don't look, or they're too small, or too tall, or too this or too that. Like, it doesn't just affect women. It affects all of us. And Shelbs and I are on the journey to lean into the shame, and so we invite you to do the same.
Thank you, Cam. That's beautiful stories, and it was beautiful to witness that, and for people to realize the beauty of the human body. And it doesn't need to be seen as our culture portrays it. It can be seen as the beautiful piece of art that it is. So share with us, how are you doing with body shame, and how can we help you?